Assalamu alaikum. I am Dr. Mahi and today I will deliver a lecture on circulation of the blood to the head and neck. Head and neck is one of the most important region of the body, and the basic arterial supply of this region will be discussed today. The two most common arteries which supply this region are the common carotid arteries and the vertebral arteries. Both common carotid arteries and vertebral arteries are paired arteries. So there is one on each side. The common carotid artery on the right side, which is called right common carotid artery, is a branch of brachiocephalic artery. I'll show you in the figure. And the left common carotid artery is a branch of arch of aorta. So the right common carotid artery is a direct branch from the right common carotid artery is a branch of brachiocephalic artery, while left common carotid artery directly arises from the arch of aorta. Both these arteries then ascend upwards in the neck region and further divide at the level of the upper border of the thyroid cartilage into two branches, that is external carotid and internal carotid. So I will revise. There are two common carotid arteries, one on the right side, other on the left side. The right common carotid artery is a branch of brachiocephalic artery, while left common carotid artery is a direct branch of the arch of aorta. While at the level of the upper border of thyroid cartilage, both of them divide into two branches, that is external branch and an internal branch. I'll show you. Just at the upper border of the thyroid cartilage, the left common carotid artery divides into a left internal carotid and left external carotid, just like right common carotid, which divides into right internal carotid and right external carotid. And through these two branches, that is internal carotid and external carotid, they supply all the areas of the brain, different facial structures that we will discuss later on. So the right common carotid artery is a branch of brachiocephalic artery. The left common carotid directly rises from the arch of aorta. Both of them pass on each side of the neck and distribute all various regions of the brain. The common carotid arteries, they are actually embedded in a sheath which is called carotid sheath. There are certain dilatations at the level of the bifurcation of the common carotid artery, where it divides into external and internal branch. So these dilatations are actually the baroreceptors which respond to various pressure changes, that is blood pressure changes in the body, and are involved in the adjustment of blood pressure through reflex mechanisms. So carotid sinuses are actually dilatations at the bifurcation of the common carotid arteries which respond to various pressure changes. Similarly, there are different you can say small groups of specialized cells which are called chemoreceptors, and they respond to changes in the carbon dioxide and oxygen content of the blood. They are called carotid bodies. Carotid bodies, they respond to changes in the carbon dioxide and oxygen content, while carotid sinuses, they respond to changes in the blood pressure. Carotid bodies, they are involved in the reflex mechanisms of respiration through respiratory center in the medulla. So we learn about three things. First of all, the common carotid arteries, which divide into external and internal carotid, and through external and internal branches it supplies various regions of the brain. Okay, then we have carotid sinuses and carotid bodies. Carotid bodies, they respond to changes in the carbon dioxide and oxygen content, while carotid sinuses, they relate to the changes in blood pressure. Now we will discuss in detail the branches of the carotid arteries. So as we discussed, these carotid arteries divide into an external branch and an internal branch. The external carotid arteries divides into various branches as shown in this figure, that is superior thyroid artery, which supplies the thyroid region. Then we have lingual artery, which is also a branch of external carotid artery. It supplies various regions of the tongue. Then we have facial artery. It supplies various regions of the face. Maxillary artery, it supplies the maxillary region. And temporal artery, which supplies the temporal area of the scalp. So these are the different branches of the external carotid artery: the superior thyroid artery, lingual artery, facial artery, maxillary artery, and superficial temporal artery. So through these various branches, external carotid arteries supply various regions of the head and neck. Coming towards the internal carotid artery. Internal carotid artery basically supplies the various areas of the brain. How it supplies various areas of the brain? Internal carotid artery alongside vertebral artery forms a network of arteries on the base of the brain, which is called circle of Willis. I will tell you in detail here. So as we know that external carotid artery through its different branches supply different areas of the head and neck. So internal carotid artery along with vertebral arteries forms a network at the base of the brain. So this red network which is shown at the base of the brain is called the circulus arteriosus or circle of Willis. Circulus arteriosus or circle of Willis is the basic, you can say, blood supply of the brain. So the contributing arteries in this circle of Willis are from the internal carotid arteries and vertebral arteries. So the greater part of the brain is supplied with arterial blood by an arrangement of arteries which is called circulus arteriosus or the circle of Willis. The four large arteries which contribute to the formation of this circle of Willis is two internal carotid arteries from each side and two vertebral arteries from each side. Actually, we don't learn much about vertebral arteries, from where these vertebral arteries arise. Vertebral arteries actually arise from the subclavian arteries, and they pass through the foramen in the transverse process of the cervical vertebra. So the vertebra in the cervical region of the neck are called cervical vertebra, and there are certain foramen on the transverse process of the vertebra. So this artery basically passes through those foramina, and it is actually arising from subclavian artery. Finally, it passes through the skull. It enters into the skull through foramen magnum, which is the largest foramen in the skull, and then joined to form basilar artery. I'll show you. Left vertebral artery and right vertebral artery. Both of them join together to form a common artery which is called basilar artery. So these vertebral arteries on each side are the branch of subclavian arteries. And how they come into the brain? Through foramen magnum. After passing through the transverse processes of the cervical vertebra, they enter into the brain through foramen magnum and then join together to form basilar artery. Okay. Anteriorly, you can see there are two arteries which are called the anterior cerebral arteries, that is one on the right side and the other on the left side. So we have right anterior cerebral artery, okay, this one, right anterior cerebral artery and left anterior cerebral artery, and they are joined together through an artery which is called anterior communicating artery. So these anterior cerebral arteries are the branches of internal carotid arteries. So you can say that two internal carotid give branches which are called anterior cerebral artery, and left and right vertebral arteries join together to form basilar artery. And these actually form the circle of Willis. Anteriorly, the two anterior cerebral arteries, they arise from internal carotid arteries joined together by an anterior communicating arteries. Posteriorly, two vertebral arteries joined together to form basilar artery. After traveling for a short distance, basilar artery divides into posterior cerebral arteries. Okay, this basilar artery divides into posterior cerebral arteries, completing the circle. Okay, each of which is then joined by the corresponding internal carotid artery by a posterior communicating artery. So a posterior communicating artery from the internal carotid artery joins these posterior cerebral arteries, thus completing the circle of Willis. Initially, we have anterior cerebral arteries from internal carotid arteries, which are connected to the other side through anterior communicating arteries. We have both right and left vertebral arteries which join together to form basilar artery. Basilar artery then divides into posterior cerebral artery on right and left side, which are joined to the posterior communicating artery, which is a branch of internal carotid artery. So thus completing the circle of Willis. So the major contributor you can say in this circle of Willis are these two internal carotids and two vertebral arteries, which through various branches like anterior cerebral artery, posterior communicating artery, basilar artery, supplies the base of the brain. So branches of the basilar artery also supply different parts of the brain stem. So you must know the circle of Willis, which is very important. This is actually all about the arterial supply of the brain, you can say. Now venous return from the head and neck. How the venous blood is returned from the head and neck region. So the venous return from the head and neck is through superficial and deep veins.